As I've mentioned in other videos, my favorite comedies are Home Alone, Dumb and Dumber, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Elf. Elf has a really good Rotten Tomatoes score. I've talked about Home Alone and Mrs. Doubtfire in other videos. In this case, I'm going to be talking about Dumb and Dumber. I think it's easily one of the funniest movies out there. When I watch that movie, I'm laughing a lot. I think Elf is really funny, but I feel like Dumb and Dumber gets me to laugh more often than Elf. Yeah, I really like Elf because it's so sweet, wholesome, feel good. That's not really why I like Dumb and Dumber. It's a really funny movie. I like the two main characters. The actors do a really good job. I think all the performances here are good. I like the story. I like the way the movie looks. I think the jokes are very well executed. So when I look up this movie on Rotten Tomatoes and see that the critic score is only 57%, I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. That makes no sense to me. That seems shockingly low for Dumb and Dumber. I think that it's a classic comedy. It's like, what movie did the critics watch? I don't know. What were they thinking when they reviewed this movie? I have no clue. It makes no sense because the movie's so funny. Like at the beginning, where one of the two guys, the one played by Jim Carrey, is a cab driver. He goes to the house of the lady he's gonna take to the airport. As soon as the door opens, he's like, "Oh, I'm in love." There's romantic music playing. Obviously, she's like, "Yeah, this is the guy that's just gonna drive me to the airport. It's no big deal." And then he drives her to the airport, and we see he's such a bad driver that he easily could have gotten them both killed, at the point where she's like, "Driver, keep your eyes on the road, please." And then they get to the airport, and she's not acting like this is any big deal. "Yeah, I just am going to go on my plane." But to him, it's super emotional. He literally is like, "Does someone need a hug?" She's obviously like, "What? Why would I hug you? I barely know you." So when they do hug, it's super awkward. And then there's a moment where the two guys are pulled over by a cop. Well, they have these beer bottles in their vehicle that are filled with piss. And the officer's like, "Oh, what you boys got there? Are you drinking some?" "Oh, no, that's not what we're doing here, no." "Oh, okay, then give me one of them." "No, no, sorry, I don't think that's a good idea." "You'll shut up if you know what's good for you." And then the officer actually drinks the piss. He's like, "What the heck am I drinking? This doesn't taste right at all." So he starts throwing up. And then there's a moment where these two guys actually put peppers in one of the bad guys' sandwich as a prank. Moment at the end where one of them gets a prank pulled on him by the other guy, where he drinks his fate and it causes him to poop a lot at the point where he clogs up a toilet. And then a different moment, he gets his tongue stuck on a pole. Now, I think the Rotten Tomatoes score for Dumb and Dumber way too low. I think it, for one, easily should be fresh. More than that, I think it should have at least an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Though it doesn't make sense to